Good evening everyone, hopefully you can hear me okay because I know we've got a bit of road noise. Tonight I'm joined by Dave and we're going to do a little bit of foraging tonight. We get a lot of our customers that come in out talk about foraging, they're talking about going outside in the countryside and doing various things, looking at different plants and one thing or another. So, you know, we thought it'd be a great idea to come and have a look. Anybody could do this, you know, not too far away from their home, maybe from a park or whatnot. So we've literally come within like about half a mile from where we all live. Apart from me, who's just walked up a bloody hill to get here, but forget all that. So we're going to go with Dave, we're going to have a little rope around and see what we can find, and we'll probably stop and start, and Dave's got the GoPro on as well, so he'll have a little chat when we come across some of it. So let's go.
Off we go. This stuff here, it is plantain, ribwort plantain, and these little flower red seed bits here, they have a mushroomy taste to them.
Right, okay.
And you can collect these, dry them up, powder them, and use them like as a mushroom powder substitute. And chefs have actually used them as a sep substitute. You know, sep's quite expensive, porcini, penny buns, things like that they call them. But the leaves as well, obviously in that stage there, they don't look very pleasant to eat, and they're quite stringy as well. These little ribs in them, hence its name. But you get the smaller leaves and chuck them in your salads or eat them as they are.
Of course, Dave, you're not going to fall over, are you? You're going to be all right?
It's been good. I had a chap come in here one day. I was picking sorrel and he asked me what I was picking, and I said, oh, sorrel. I said, but this will give you kidney stones if you eat too much of it. And he goes, oh, that's what I've got at the moment. I said, well, try eating some of this stuff. And he had it for a few weeks and I bumped into him again and he went, gone.
So how much of that would he have had to have had?
A couple of leaves every other day.
And that's it?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, would you find this everywhere, in most fields?
It likes this kind of environment, this kind of rough ground. You know, if you've not got a very well-kept lawn, you probably find it in your lawn as well.
Right, okay. We're coming to the end of April, so this is a pretty good time now, is it, for foraging?
Yeah, I mean, this is like just tailing off the beginning of spring as such.
Yeah.
If it starts flowering, that's when it's starting to go over, because all the goodness is going into the flower.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the plants will hang around a lot longer anyway, but normally you wouldn't pick it when they start flowering. Here's some sorrel. This is common sorrel, and it looks like little rabbit's ears. Yeah. Little rabbit's ears, but you will see some a little bit later. It'll be a bit bigger, but this will grow and you'll have a big like flowering spike on it, and then a little indicator on the top where the seeds are, and they go like an orange. So if the fields are not getting cut, then that will like point you to it. You know, it's like an indicator. But this is just small stuff. You know, dandelions, you know, they're so common, and everybody just you know, walks past them. Even foragers, you know, a lot of foragers don't bother collecting them, but they're good for you, good diuretic, you know, clean you out.
You'd have to have quite a bit of that though.
Yeah. It's they reckon it's the bitterness in the plants that's the goodness. But you can use, you know, the flower reds as they are, and they call this poor man's saffron.
Right.
And I've tried putting this in rice, trying to make it colour it a bit. But you need about 30 flower reds. Yeah. Just before that state, you know, people have them as capers.
Yeah.
And chuck them in the salads, you know, pickle them and have them in salads. Again, nice, unique taste. Some of it, at first when you try this stuff, you're like, ugh, you know, because you're just not used to it. But eventually you start getting used to those flavours, and then you realise that it's a damn sight better for you. I mean, there's a woman, she's done a book called Cooking with Weeds. I forget her name, I think it's Vivian something. And in the book it'll have, for example, nettles.
Yeah.
And it'll have the calorific information, and it'll have the cabbage.
Yeah.
And the nettles will outweigh the cabbage more often than not. Yeah. You know, vitamin D, vitamin B, vitamin K, you know, all the different other little things. But it's just what we're used to. You know, you get a cabbage, cabbage tastes all right, doesn't it? Yeah. But nettles are.
This is good.
Yeah. This time of year would be cuckoo flower.
Right.
Lady's smock. Now, there's none in this field, because it needs a little bit of dampness.
Yeah.
So usually you'll find them in a bit of a dampish meadow.
Yeah.
Ironically, that roundabout, it's got quite a few of them.
Right, okay, yeah.
But normally you see them down road verges where the ground's a little bit wet. That's part of the cabbage family. I call them brassicas. And tiny little pinkish flower, or white sometimes. And it's, you eat it and it's like electric. It's like a zingy taste in that.
Just with salads? Yeah,
just with salads, or put it on top of fish or whatever, just dress something. The problem is with a lot of wild foods is because, again, we'll go back to the cabbage got a lot of body to it, a lot of structure. You can cook that, like your grandma used to for 4 hours. It'd still be, you'd have to chop it up to eat it. Whereas a lot of the wild food plants, you've only got to cook them a little bit and they just kind of go to mush. Nettles, one of them. This is all blackthorn bushes. Try that, it tastes like almonds.
I'll try it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
No.
That's cyanide.
Is there a disclaimer on this, by the way, before we start?
Yeah, so like apple seeds. You'll eat all apple seeds, you'll end up killing yourself because of the cyanide in them. But that's what that is. But yeah, people do, you've got to eat quite a bit. This is some more common sorrel here. Some there. And you can see that the leaves a little bit bigger. Again, distinctive V on the back.
So I can eat that just as it is now?
You can eat that as it is, and that, I'll let you decide what it tastes like. Whatever. What do you think that tastes like?
Citrus, it's like
That's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
it's strong.
Well,
like a lemony, like
yeah, lemony, or like an apple peel type taste.
It's like an apple peel,
A very strong apple.
It's always best not to tell you what I think it tastes like, rather than what you do.
I'm amazed that there's that much flavour in that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're feeling thirsty, and you have a few nibbles on this, it'll help take that thirst away. That lemony taste that you're getting is what they call oxalic acid.
Right.
The oxalic acid is in dock leaves. It's in rhubarb.
Right. Okay.
It's all that family.
So if I get stung by some nettles, I can rub this on and it'll get rid of the sting.
Just use a nettle to rub the nettle again. Nettle is the best thing to do with a nettle sting.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's me trying to find a dock leaf.
No, dock leaves, old wives' tale. You see all there, it's all cleavers.
Yeah.
All sticky buds that we used
buds,
to.
Yeah.
That's a really good plant to eat when it first comes up. Generally, you would just pick that bit.
Yeah.
If you were just going to eat it raw in a salad and that. Before it gets too old, because what happens if you feel that now, you've got that like Velcro sticky, and that if you eat in that, you just irritate your mouth. But what you can do with this, you can blitz it and put it into a soup, and it'll be full of nutrients. Even if you had it in a veg soup and you just substituted that in it as well, it'd make your meal a bit better. What some people do as well, they get an handful of this, put it in a jar of water and just let it steep for a few days, and then drink that, and they reckon it's a good medicinal cleansing tonic. Just while we're here, this is old Bramble, and these little bits here, when they first come through, I'm going to have a chew on that.
No way. That's like a soapy. No,
I don't know whether I want to try this. It's soapy.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like a...
The tannin dries your mouth out.
What do you reckon?
People say like a coconut taste.
It takes a while to get the flavour out of it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, normally you'd have a tiny little bug. We've just missed it, to be honest with you.
I can see what you mean by soapy.
It is, isn't it?
That wouldn't have been the first word that came to my mind, but mine.
But a friend of mine, he collected the little buds, and he put them in the oven, and he like dry roasted them.
Right.
And he put them on the bar as bar snacks, and they went down a treat. It took him bloody ages to collect them, but this plant here is part of the carrot family, and the carrot family is, unfortunately, it has a good amount of wild edibles but it also has a good amount of ones that will kill you. This is hogweed, or cow parsnip is another name for it. Yeah. But you'll find this next to paths like we have, and you more often than not find it a lot down roadsides. Yeah. What we want is this little bit here. You know, from that size to about there, and you're wanting this little like rabbit's foot type appearance. Once the leaves unfurl, it's gone too far. For me anyway, a lot of people still eat them. But if you fry this in butter, and most things that we find we cook them in butter, it gives them a beautiful taste. And this one, its other name is edge asparagus. And it's probably better than asparagus. And it does the exact same when it goes through you.
So you can't do it with your 1 calorie spray then?
No.
It's got to be with half a
it's
ton
got,
of butter.
You half a ton of butter, yeah. A James Martin portion of butter. But when you cook it, it goes a lot softer. And the leaves, they'll go like fried, like deep fried seaweed. Right. But what you got to be careful of, I mean, it ain't too bad because we're out of the sun anyway. But this sap from this is photosensitive. Right. So, for example, if you were strimming this and you had your top off, the sap gets on you. Yeah. You go out into the sun, you could start blistering. So you got to be careful when you're picking this. Some people are all right. I've never had any problems with it. But some people would be better off picking it with marigolds. Yeah. Another thing with the carrot family is this has got like redness on the stem. Generally, anything that's got red on it, we say stay away from.
So our class, that's rhubarb. You know what I mean? But
you'd look at it. You'd look at it like rhubarb, yeah. Now with the poisonous ones, poison hemlock, you'll have red. It's as if somebody's flicked a paintbrush, and all the little speckles of paint have gone on the stem. And that's poison hemlock. Giant hogweed, that has loads of little spots on the stem. Yeah. So it's two distinguishing features between this and giant hogweed. I'd say if we had some here, it'd make more sense. But red dots, leave alone. If it's red like that in general, you're not too bad. There's another one. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be about where I would draw the line at. But you know, some people do eat them with the leaves a little bit more open, but you know, each to their own.
What is that? That looks like spinach leaves.
Like, it looks like that leaf that we've just been looking at, doesn't it? So it's got the ears like sorrel. But this one, you don't want to eat. This is lords and ladies or arum. And if you did actually eat this accidentally, it would be like having a load of fiberglass in your mouth, because those oxalic acids, they're like on steroids in this, and that's about the only good thing about it, because as soon as you start eating it, it stops you from swallowing it. This would be growing with all the wild garlic, yeah. One of the things to look out for, you see on the leaf, there's like this margin, and it tends to go all around the edge, and the veins don't actually go to the edge of the leaf.
Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, I got that, yeah.
Yeah, this little margin that goes around the edge. So it's like a leaf laid on top of a leaf. Garlic, you wouldn't have that distinguishing feature. But the good thing with this is that this is like its ideal growing environment. But yeah, you get it in the edge, you get it in woodlands, but you won't get it in the middle of the field. So right then, let's carry on down through. The problem is as well with foraging, maybe we should have said it at the beginning, is unless you've got the landowner's permission, you can't uproot anything. You can't dig anything up. You can take the leaves, you can take the flowers, you can take the fruit, you can take the fungi. You know, the 4 Fs they call it. This is the brambles again. And again, they don't look very appetising, but when you get the new growth, like these things, they'll start getting a longer stick on it, and we'll see over there, you got all the spikes. You just get a knife, clean all the spikes off, and then you've got the stem, and it wiggles like nothing, and you can just put it in butter, eat them as well. And again, they're beautiful there.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I'm not eating that.
I'm not eating that either, and I'm not sitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm
so
not rubbing it on my skin.
Yeah. So we got the thistle, marsh thistle. I wouldn't say it's one of these gourmet wild foods, but what you would do when the stem starts coming up, you get to a part of the stem where it's flexible.
Yeah.
As you go down, you know, like when you're picking asparagus and you're snapping it off,
Right.
that kind of technique.
Yeah.
So you try in the stem, where it's soft, flexible, that's where you'd cut it or break it off, and then you would peel the spikes off and either boil it, chop it up as a normal veg, or fry it in some butter.
You need it quite big though, wouldn't you, for that?
Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, they will come up, you know, later in the year, yeah. You'd be surprised, I mean, sometimes they're up here. Yeah, this is one of the most poisonous, if not the most poisonous plant in the UK.
Really?
Yeah.
What's it called?
This is called Hemlock Waterdrop Walk. Yeah, this is a textbook environment.
It's quite wet.
Yeah, for it to be growing in. But when I say textbook, the problem is this plant doesn't always go by the book. You get this growing in places where the textbook says it shouldn't grow, and then people think, oh.
So what is it, just with seeds? It's just like washed?
Yeah. Animals, stuff like that. But if it's growing out of its environment where it's supposed to grow, you might not be thinking it's Hemlock Waterdrop Walk. You might look at it and go, oh, it looks like celery.
So what would happen?
I thought it looked like celery, I'll be honest. I was
Yeah.
thinking that.
So I mean, what are the consequences if you...
Death. Yeah, that is the consequence.
Instant or...?
No. I mean, you'd have to eat a bit. I mean, if you had a fair few leaves chopped up in a salad and you ate it on yourself, if you're not dead, you're probably going to be on dialysis for the rest of your life. That's if you're lucky. You're better off dying. Apparently, a group up in Scotland that picked this, chopped it up and chucked it in the curry. And because they only had a little bit of it each, they survived. But it's the golden rule in foraging: if you don't know what it is, you don't eat it. You've got to be 110% sure whenever you're picking. There's a survival book that's got a taste test, and in it mentions rubbing it on your skin, waiting 5-10 minutes, rubbing a bit under your tongue, wait 5-10 minutes, chewing a little bit, spitting it out, chewing a little bit, swallowing it, and you've got all these things to go through. And if it doesn't react with any of them, there's a good chance it's edible, but there's also a good chance that you just got lucky.
So for those of you that are watching now, for God's sake, don't go and eat that stuff.
The problem is with it as well, is when you crush it, it smells sweet. So it gives you that impression, oh, this smells nice, yeah. If it's growing on a bank, and let's say the river bank's getting washed out, the roots get exposed, and the roots look like little parsnips.
Okay.
So, and that's another thing where people get them confused and they think, oh, it must be a wild parsnip. It's usually cattle and the odd one or two adults. But it makes all your muscles spasm. And when you're finally dead, you've got a big smile on your face because you're all tensed up. If we stop here, this one here is one of my favourites, and this is part of the cabbage family. It's called Bittercress, hairy bittercress. And you know the cress that you buy from the supermarket, you know, you cut and come again. Well, I mean this, have a...
Is this the stuff that throws its seeds when you pick it up?
Yeah, you knock it and the seed pods.
There's absolutely loads of it around here.
With some wild foods, you know, you read the recipe books and stuff like that, and it's like, you get this and you put this oil on it, and you get this and you put this sauce on it, and you're like, it tastes beautiful, and you're like, yeah, but what does that taste like without all the sauces? Whereas this, for me, it kind of stands on its own 2 feet. You know, I've had this growing down at Clenna Valley, and I've had one of these leaves next to one of them leaves, a young one, and at that particular time you couldn't tell the difference. Yeah.
My word.
I'm pretty sure that was bittercress that I gave you. You know what it is as soon as you smell
mint.
it. Yeah. Yeah, watermint.
Watermint?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll have like a pinky purplish like flower.
Before I eat it?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah. Quite a lot of it in amongst here.
I don't know if I like that.
Great amongst here. Yeah. But, you know, there's stuff out, it's just getting it.
That's a bit strong for me.
You notice I'm wearing
Yeah, can you see that, everybody? That's just so you know. Troy, get this on camera. Lower Zephyrs, bought from the Camouflage store.
Yep.
You look down there. Altberg Tabin boots, bought from the Camouflage store. Fjällräven, bought from the Camouflage store.
I've got some of them.
Newson, bought from the Camouflage store.
While we're here, this one here, this is called Herb Robert.
Right.
You can eat the leaves if you want. Again, wouldn't be one of my go-tos. But what people use this a lot for, they use it as an herbal tea. Just the leaves, leaves, flowers, dry them up, make them into a tea. There's a lot of material out there saying the health benefits of it.
Yeah.
And the anti-cancer fighting benefits as well. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist, so I'm not going to say yes or no, but there might be some truth to it. And we know there is anyway, because most of the plants, a lot of the medication's derived from plants anyway. But I did read one story where a vet in Australia, he was treating this woman's dog. The dog was riddled with cancer, and he said there's nothing else we can do. And the woman gave her dog this in drinks, and supposedly cured the dog. But do your own research. But this is these are all willow trees. You can use the bark and you can use the leaves, chew on them, and it'll have like an anodine, aspirin effect. Yeah, salicylic acid. This one here, you've probably seen that all over the place. We call this navel wart. Try one.
Hold on, is it not growing next to that other blooming stuff, is it?
No. These vary in taste. They can either be very bitter or they can taste all right.
Oh, it's juicy. That's juicy. It's quite juicy. Loads of water in it. What is that? Do you know?
If you're lucky, it would taste a bit like moist too. If you're lucky.
No.
But more often not.
That got worse as it went down.
Yeah, a bit bitter. Yeah, they are a little bitter. They're on banks like this, or around the base of like oak trees. You don't find it like out in the open.
Right.
So if you've got banks, this is where you find it. This is, you probably know what this tree is. Got little thorns on it.
Is that hawthorn, is it?
Hawthorn, yeah. So this is a really easy one. You can eat the leaves. At the beginning of the year, before they start getting papery, what people will do as well, they'll get the flowers and put wrap the flower up in the leaf. Then they call it bread and cheese. But you're better off waiting to the end of the season when you've got the little red berries.
Right.
And inside those red berries is a little stone. You get rid of that, but you can eat the rest of it. And they're very high in pectin, so it's a good setting agent. What I've done before, I've collected a load of hawthorn berries, some blackberries, some sloe berries, mixed them all together, and then sliced them really thin and made like a fruit jerky, really. You can keep that and just eat it when you're out and about, again full of vitamins and energy and whatever. This one here, this is part of the carrot family as well, and this is wild Angelica, if you ever heard of that before.
No.
Back in the olden days, let's say 70s, probably 80s, when this grows up,
time, Dave.
yeah, this would grow up, it'd have a stem like the ogweed, grow quite tall, and they would put them in the oven, dry them out with sugar, cook them and make them into like candy sticks.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a long drawn out process, but again, it's part of the carrot family. So the carrot family got some of the poisonous ones, so it's all about identification again. And you can see the leaves, you can see the stem, got a little groove in it, got like a purpley hue to it. If it was speckled, you just want to keep walking. It would have been good if we could see some hemlock, because you'd see how speckled it is. See, you know, you get the stem, just clean them off. You see how flimsy it is. You know, like even a few seconds in a frying pan. You know, with that, a bit of butter, take that bit off. Probably not.
That's not that bad actually.
Yeah, but it's better than an hawthorn leaf, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're trying wild foods for the first time, it's that unknown taste that kind of puts you off a little bit. Can you remember what that one was?
No, I can't remember that. Hold on. There's nothing around the edges, so I'm happy with that.
That's a rabbit's ear.
Yeah.
Rabbit's ear
Oh,
was
yes, it
good.
is there. Yeah, it is good.
So that's a scabby sorrel leaf. See the seeds coming up through?
Right.
So eventually they'll go like a rusty brown. And if that was out in the field,
That is,
it'd,
what's that one?
Strong one, is it?
What's that?
they're quite strong, aren't they?
Oh, that's strong.
I think what Ray Mears does, he makes like a sorbet with them.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a tart, stuff like that. You get enough of them, mulch them down, you make a sorrel tart. So, you know, you can eat quite a bit. There's some more of that Angelica.
Oh, yeah.
You can smell it. Got quite a...
Cool. Yeah. Actually, I've smelt that around quite a lot.
There's some bittercress, or there you just see the seed heads. Some more sorrel. So once you get your eye in,
You can see it.
you see it everywhere. I mean, that's the same family, that's dock leaves. But the taste in that is totally different to this.
Yeah.
This is just bitter. Yeah, so this is a vetch, butch vetch. Little pea-like flower, same family. And ideally you just want to take off the ends and they just... It's like pea, you know, like pea shoots that you buy from the shop just to dress up your meals. That's all these are. But you get a pinkish flower with these, but obviously next to the road you want to look, if you ever pick it next to the road, just look at the condition of the plants. If they look like manky and they've got little like black spots on them, because it's, yeah. But you'd be surprised how clean some of the stuff is, like, you know. Yeah, that's the vetch, and just growing in amongst it is yarrow. It looks like a fern, but it's not. But this is what what's his name used on his Achilles heel in what was it called? That film? Is it not Thor? What's his name?
You know what I mean.
You know what I mean?
What do you call it?
What should we call it?
Thingamabob from what's his job?
Jig.
Brad Pitt.
Oh,
Yeah, Brad Pitt. That's who it was.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I bet he never come out foraging,
Yeah.
did he?
No. This one here. This is cow parsley. This one can get mixed up with common hemlock. Similar looking leaves, but again you see on this it's got the purplish hue to it. It's got this like white thing on it as well, and it's got, if you look on the stem, it's got like a yew ridge to it. Some people use this as an herb, but again it doesn't do anything for me. I don't find it that good at all. But common hemlock and this will tend to grow together sometimes. And again, what you're looking for is, if it's got like a purple hue on it, we're okay. If it's got red spots on it, it's a no-go. Sometimes it's just not worth taking the risk. All this stuff here, this is Alexander's, and they're pretty local to coastal environments. Normally, like, they're up here, you can see some there going into flower. And if you crush, have a crush of the leaves and have a smell, it smells quite nice. Like, it's like celery on steroids. What we tend to do when we were picking it, we would pick stems that were about as thick as his finger, and we would cut them into sections and just like peel. There's like a little ridge on it, so you just peel that off and then just braise them in butter. Beautiful, just till it starts going soft.
I want to know what We've got a lot
if you're out of butter, you're kind of knackered. And these as well. I mean, that's going to flower now, so you got the pollen coming off it. But normally beforehand, you can have them like little broccolis. Again, just you know, fry them up and that. And right at the end of the season, you'll get little green like seeds on these, and then eventually they'll go black.
Yes.
You could put them in like a pepper grinder and use it the exact same. Yeah, and you get this quite nice scented seasoning. It hasn't got a kick like pepper, but it's, you know, it's pretty good. That's what you eat that bit.
What, I can eat that like
Yeah,
that?
the flour and everything.
Bloody hell.
yeah. All like that.
It's actually not that bad.
They're nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
But you know, you have them, chuck them on your salad or whatever.
That isn't that bad actually, is it?
I mean, they look pretty like that. But again, if you tried cooking with them, they'd just go to nothing and they'd look horrible.
It wouldn't be out of place in like a pack of mixed salad or something.
No,
that you
no,
buy at
definitely
the
not,
shop of a
no.
supermarket.
But you see that the garlic flowers on this particular version have got like bells on them, whereas the garlic flowers on the one in the wood, the ransoms, it's more like a star. But they both taste pretty good.
They're both fine to eat then.
Yeah. Same. They're Sunnian family, so they're all okay. Yeah, they're very, very young black mustard. It's
I won't try that one.
it's not doing it. It's not doing it. I think you survived that one.
Right.
But the when they grow, if you come up here later in the year and they're up here and they've got yellow flowers on them, it's part of the cabbage family.
Right.
Take the leaf. I think you can't really see it, but it looks like they've got little thorns on the leaves. And you eat that, and if you like wasabi, that kind of stuff, then that's what this is like. It's like the British version of that. Really spicy. There's no big stuff here, which is a bit of a shame. But I mean, other than that, that's just a little stroll along the path, mate.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is amazing.
Just a few things.
Well, look, hopefully you could hear us okay with the sound. We've literally just walked, I don't know, what, 400 yards?
Yeah.
So you can see what we've just seen in that time in the kind of different things that we've tried tasting. And I suppose I'm a bit quiet because I'm a bit, you know, I've seen so many bits and pieces, so it's hard. So, well, look, a massive thank you for Dave to taking us out just to show me and Ian a few little bits and pieces and what you can see. But if there's anything that you've got to take from today, is if you are out foraging for the first time, is be careful.
Yep.
I mean, what would you say? What would be the...
Well, if you're unsure of what you're looking at, take a photo of it, go back. If you've got books at home, if you get the Collins books, the tiny little books, and on the side of the book it's got yellow, blue, pink and white. So if you find a pink flower, you can go straight to the pink flowers in the book. If you found a yellow flower, you can go straight to the yellow flowers. Makes it a lot easier to try and identify. But never eat anything unless you know exactly what it is.
I mean, like you said, Dave first started doing this back in the 80s.
Yeah.
With it in the Army Cadet, so it's part of like survival skills. So they're just skills that I think, I mean, they're not dying, are they?
No,
I mean, there's
no.
lots of people that are doing this. So that's what we did this video, because, you know, we get people come in the shop, talk about foraging, they go out and they do things, or, you know, and it's a good interest, and it's nice to know and to learn a little bit. So massive thanks to Dave, and hopefully we'll get into another one. We've only been waiting for about 2 years to do this. I hope you enjoyed it, and you probably learned something. My taste has gone a bit funny, I know that. So thanks for watching. Thanks to Ian for coming into Troy, for doing the camera work, and we'll catch you all a little bit later. See you later. Bye bye.